Hey guys, how's it going? It is Kieran here and welcome back to HK Gaming. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. You're joined by me, Kieran, in a new series, if you'd like to call it, of the best computer, in my opinion, that you could build for a certain price range. So today we actually have the £400 computer build, and we'll be working up from £400 to £500 to £750 and so on. So today we actually have the 400 one, as I've already said, and we're going to start off with the case that we're going to build in, as you have seen in the thumbnail that is on this video. So I'm going to have a look at this case, and we have the CIT Vantage Type R case. Now, I've looked at this case for a while when I was going to build my computer, and for the price, it is, in my opinion, a very nice looking case. You have all of the different, like, fans, and if you like to call them that, yeah, I'm not sure why I'd like to call them that, because they are fans. You can get them, in this case, in a variety of different colours. So far I know you can get it in green, red and blue, and I'll have them all come up on the screen now. And this case has quite a nice couple of features. It has a lot of fans, so you have lots of good cooling on your computer, and I think the buttons and all of the USB ports on the top, they're really nicely laid out, so that is what we will be building our computer in. So now we're going to move on to the power supply. Now, as this is the £400 computer build, we haven't gone with anything too spectacular for the power supply, but I actually had this power supply for a bit in my computer until I saved up the money to buy a new one. So the CIT dual rail 750 watts is plenty of power for this computer build, and it was far over what you'd need in wattage, but it was only like £2 more to get this over the 600 watt one, so I thought, why not throw this one in? So this is it's a reasonable power supply. It has everything you'll need for this build. So we'll move on to the motherboard, which we were building everything on. Now, this motherboard, as you might know or might not know, you get what you pay for basically when you build a computer, and at this price range this is good enough for what you want. Now, this has two PCI Express 16 pins, 3.0 ones. It has an FM2 socket, which will move us on to the processor in a second, and it has everything you'll need. You can get two sticks of RAM in it, and has, how many USB ports does it have? I just having a look. I think it has 4 USB ports, which is plenty. So we'll move on to the RAM. It is now. So with RAM, 4 GB is enough for most games today, apart from, like, well, Watch Dogs, I think, recommends 8 GB, but you don't really need 8 GB at the moment. I mean, 8 GB is a sweet spot, but 4 GB is plenty enough for you to get started on PC gaming. Now, this is the Corsair DDR3 1330 megahertz memory. They're two 2 GB sticks, so I'll put you in, like, I forgot what the word is now, dual channel instead of a single channel for 4 gig, which is actually a bit faster, so that's a bit nicer. Now, moving on to the CPU. The CPU, I've decided to choose this AMD A8 6600K, and it's clocked at 4.2 gigahertz. I mean, 4.2 gigahertz, that is high clock speed. It is a quad core processor, so you have all of the performance you'll need on games. What else does it have? The GPU, its base speed is at 3.9 gigahertz, but it actually boosts up to 4.2 gigahertz when you need it. So that's quite a nice processor for the price. It is sort of the sweet spot for this build. And now we're going to move on to the hard drive. Now, the hard drive is quite a thing, sort of down to preference of the user. For this build, I've only put in 500 gigabytes, but if you're going to have lots of stuff on your system, maybe you should consider getting a terabyte hard drive, or even a 2 terabyte hard drive if you have a lot. But in most cases, I find 500 gigabytes is good enough for this. It will store everything you need it to, including all your necessary games that you'd want. Now, Every computer needs one of these to install the operating system. It is a DVD writer or DVD reader, whatever you'd like to call it, and I've chosen the Samsung SH224DB. Now, this is an internal DVD writer, and it basically does what you think it would do. Opens up, put a disc in it, and it reads it, or you can burn discs to it, so probably won't be using that much once you have your computer on. But now I'm going to move on to operating system. Now, in this build, I've just chosen to use Windows. Now, this is down completely to personal preference. You don't have to get Windows, and hear me out here. If you don't want Windows, don't get it. I mean, if you want to, you can even go with Linux or other operating systems. I can't really think of any at the top of my head now. The name slips my brain. I can't remember what it was called, but I remember Linux is just one of the other options that you can choose instead of Windows. But for this build, I've used Windows 8.1 because that's probably what the minority of you, or majority even, of you guys will actually use. You can also use SteamOS, which is another thing that will run all of your Steam games. So if you don't want to get this, you can save money and put it £70 towards something else on your build, such as your graphics card, and graphics card moves on to next. For this build with Windows 8.1, I've chosen the Sapphire R7 260X. Now, this is a brilliant card for the budget of this build. I actually had a card similar to this. I used to have the Radeon HD 7770. Now, my Radeon 7770 run most things that I actually wanted, and that as I was researching, this card actually runs Battlefield 4 on medium to high settings at 60 FPS, which is at 1080p, obviously, which is absolutely amazing for this price, and I would happily be able to use one of these in my build if I actually wanted to do it. So that is the graphics card that I have been using, or not been using, that I'm going to use in this build, and I hope this has been helpful to all of you guys who are on the around £400 price range. Now, overall, this build adds up to £413.07, and this is using eBuyer, by the way, guys. There will be a link in the description if you want to follow this exact build and use all the components I've chosen, and it will link you straight to the list where you can buy. Just click buy all products for this list, and it'll put it all in your basket, and you can follow it there. So, hope this has helped. If it has helped, make sure to give it a like. Comment down below if you have any suggestions for the next build, which will be £500 computer build. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time, and goodbye.
Wow.